Well, g'day everyone. It's the Two Ordinary Cops. Damo, how are you, mate?
Mate, I'm all right, but I don't think you are.
No, mate. Apparently, I'm full Mundry,
You're
as you were a
full
couple of weeks.
Mundry.
Yes, it's mate. I am as sick as a dog. And for any women out there listening, I have got man flu, so it's
Yeah.
serious.
They have
Um,
no idea what you're speaking of. They have never felt the affliction. Yeah, so Schultzy, you're full Mundry. Yeah, and I haven't heard it around the traps enough. I want to hear that word around because I reckon it's
no,
brilliant.
well,
Mundry,
exactly. We're
Mundry.
going to get it out there.
Yeah,
But
a general state of discontent.
yeah.
Yeah.
And mate,
So
what are you up to at the moment?
I'm in Newcastle, or just out of Newcastle, near Williamtown. We're doing some firefighter training, and we're right next to the Williamtown Air Base, and the bloody fighter jets, the F-35s, fly over all the time, and holy bloody hell, it's noisy. But that's all right. It's good. They're pretty impressive. So no, we're enjoying it.
Actually, I,
But
I spoke to a couple of firers the other day.
fireys or firefight,
No,
fireys or fighter
no,
pilots.
actually, like proper firefighters. You know,
Oh, there
the
you go.
firers. Yeah, yeah, yeah. They were doing a show at one of the events I was at, and had a good, good laugh with them and all that sort of thing, and asked about their business and how they're finding it and all that sort of thing. They're running into similar dramas as the police, I think, as everything else. But
Yeah,
it was pretty good. Had a good yarn with them. So
no, it's good. We do like the banter.
yeah,
But mate, something a little bit different today.
yes. Mate, we're going to do a bit of a Q and A because we've had a few people contact us, at different stages, but mostly in the last week. So I think we've got about four to go on with. Mate, the first one is from Blinky, and he's an NT copper, and he asked if we can. I think the Cas boys went to a deceased person on the road and all that sort of thing, and he asked if we can actually talk a bit more about dark humour.
Oh,
So
can we?
just explain that a bit more.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
mate,
no,
you want to
definitely.
start off?
I'd kick off, mate. I think I'm fairly well adjusted when it comes to the use of dark humour. So yeah, just for anyone who's not, I mean, everyone's sort of got some idea, but for those who don't really know, like dark humour is just creating humour out of situations that aren't funny.
Yep.
If you're dealing with tragedy, if you forever go down the doom line of this is so bad, this is so sad, all the rest of it, you're gonna there's no longevity in it. You're gonna cause yourself mental health problems if you can't separate yourself out from other people's tragedy that you have to deal with as an emergency service. So it's true to all emergency services. It's true to the medical profession, and we've said it before. Bloody nurses! Oh my god! Talk about dark humour.
Yes.
So at its absolute core, dark humour is a coping mechanism.
Yeah.
What it does is it normalizes an extraordinary situation so that ordinary people can carry on and continue to go to those extraordinary situations. Um, Dark humor for those sensitive types can be taken out of context and seen to be nasty, or it may seem that a person doesn't have doesn't have any empathy for other people. And I would actually say the opposite's true. I'd say those people who are drawn to emergency services genuinely want to assist others. And that was always the case that I found with police, fire, emergency services, medical staff. So the dark humor, what it does is it just allows you to rise above and to overcome situations that otherwise would be a terrible tragedy. I mean, they are still a tragedy. They're always a
Yeah.
tragedy. But the old term that, and I didn't coin any of my terms. I just copy what other people say. But I agree with stuff, and I grab that and move on. But there was one that I really liked, and this is not my tragedy. This is a tragedy. That it is a tragedy. However, it's not my tragedy.
Yeah.
And the coping mechanism. I gave an example in our a while back talking about. I think it was in one of the funny stories. I went to a very bad plane crash where we were literally scooping dead human remains out of an aeroplane, badly burnt bodies. So that's a pretty traumatic job. It could be. It could be something that you would remember for the. I mean, I'll remember it for the rest of my life because it's not something you do every day.
Yeah.
Um, and there was humour there. There was a few times that there was just a chuckle or someone said something that lightened the mood. It's super important that you can understand why people have that light humour. Um, it could be anything. It's So the example there was because we couldn't identify the bodies, we wrote on the body bags B1 and B2, and the humour came out in that B1 and B2. For those who don't know, or those that don't have young children, are the bananas in pajamas. So Straight away, when we see B1 and B2 written on body bags, we go, are you thinking what I'm thinking, B1? I think I am B2. It's a comedy thing from the Banana in Pajamas kids show on ABC Kids. So little tiny things like that. They're never at the expense of the victims, but what they do is they just slightly lighten the mood and they allow you to elevate past a horrible situation.
Yeah.
Nurses are very funny, and sometimes it's at the expense of a person, but not at them personally. It might be at the expense of something someone's done, but it's done. It's said anonymously, so we don't identify the person.
Yeah.
Um, and it might be they might give someone a nickname that they, and look, a lot of people would say, well, that's bloody terrible. You shouldn't be saying that. It's like, well, hang on, you're not doing the job. These nurses turn up day in, day out, or these people, whatever profession, turn up day in, day out and do that job. They would never show disrespect to the face of somebody. And I would even say that you never show disrespect to a person or a patient or anything like that. It's not that. What you can do is you can use humor in the situation, about the situation, to lighten the mood for those who are dealing with it. And we used to do it all the time. Everything was funny. We
Yeah.
had names for people. Oh, one of the things I heard, and it's inappropriate. Dark humor is inappropriate. There was a plane crash. It happened in the Northern Territory, and I'm not saying when or how, but it wasn't the one that I was talking about previously. I didn't actually attend it, but I received the bodies. And one of the men, the aircraft had landed upside down and gone across the roof, and as a result, just the sheer impact had taken off the top part of his head. So one of the fellas had written on a note just for me. He's gone, this is you'll find one body, and then Arthur is this fella. And I rang him and said, who's Arthur? He said, well, he's got half a head. So he was half a head. Like so that's not being nasty. That is just lightening the mood and using a bit of humor. I'm listening to my words, and I understand that people who aren't involved in this might be thinking that, oh, you're just horrible humans and all that. Okay, go and do the job and tell me how to do it differently and do it for 20 years and don't become an absolute basket case. I
Yeah.
would even say that a lot of the humour's been taken out of the job, and as a result, people are suffering because of it.
Yeah.
For us, humour was everything. One thing I did want to touch on with the dark humour, we were very sensitive around humour in autopsies. I did a lot of autopsies. I was involved in a lot of autopsies. They're done by a forensic pathologist and a mortuary technician, and I was the third hand, and quite often weigh organs and things like that as we're doing the autopsy, and just assist with little things around the room, but also make observations as an investigator. So there was a sign up on the wall as you get dressed. So you've got a donning and doffing room as you go in and out of the actual theatre. And that's where we don't wear full gear like a surgery would, because infection control is not as big of an issue. But we do go in there, put our big coats on, put on masks, put on gloves and big gumboots and everything like that. So it's called the donning and doffing room. And there's a sign on the wall, and I appreciate it. I thought it was really good, and it said, "You are the custodians of this person, and please treat the walls of this facility like the members of the family of the person you are dealing with. The dignity of the deceased is the highest priority." And I completely agree with that. That was absolutely, we always treated those bodies with complete dignity. And
Yeah.
not treating them as such is not funny. It's despicable. But it didn't mean that there wasn't a joke. And quite often, nothing to do with what we're doing. It might just be that someone will tell a dad joke. Like the forensic pathologist that we used to get come down there was an old Englishman, and he had a fantastic sense of humour. And he would often say things that had nothing to do with what we were doing, but it created humour. And never at the expense of the deceased. It was just that we're dealing with a deceased person, and it can be, it can be a little bit full on. So there was just a bit of humour there. And I'll give you a quick example before we probably move on a bit.
Yeah.
One day I was there, and there was a person who'd passed away of a particularly weird illness, and we were just trying to get to the bottom of it because I was the one who had to put together the coronial file. So anyway, as we're doing the autopsy, we were sort of observing a few different things to do with this person's brain, because it looked like an encephalitis kind of thing, which is an infection of the lining of the brain. So we're inspecting the top of the brain and doing swabs and all that sort of thing. And I'm just hitting him with question after question after question. And he was a really patient, really calm fellow who would explain things, and extremely knowledgeable. So he was a really good guy to spend time with. And I'll never forget, he answered every question I had very succinctly and in a non-condescending way. He would explain them and then bring it back a little bit from extreme scientific explanations, but never condescendingly. But I asked him one question. He goes, "Well, Damien, I'm glad you've asked me that question. And the answer to that is fucked if I know." And I just thought, how good is we just roared all three of us in the room just roared laughing. Yeah. The fella on the slab could have giggled. I'm sure he would have.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, but I like to put it into like give another one, and I've had mentioned this before, but I didn't mention exactly what I said. But I remember you were having a bit of a debrief. You went to a pretty bad accident, car accident, and the body was dismembered and all that sort of thing down the road, and it was a pretty morbid talk. We're just talking over a beer and all that sort of thing,
yeah.
and everybody's feeling down. They're like you just got it. Everybody's just feeling like shit, basically. As you're pouring your heart out about everything that bloody you just dealt with and all that sort of thing. Anyway, I just turned around. I thought, well, and this is what it is. And I just turned around to you. I said, Damo, did you try CPR?
Yeah.
And,
Yeah. Like, mate, where do you want me to blow into?
yeah.
Yeah, exactly right.
And
No,
it was
and
just one of those things because and it just lightened, and like you said, mate, if you didn't do that, you'd end up as a basket case.
oh god, yeah, yeah, absolutely. Actually,
Um,
another very funny piece, and it's not to do with emergency services, but I do find it extraordinarily funny when I saw it. I can't remember when it was a few years ago. We drove past, and a very common sight on the side of the road in Australia was kangaroos hit by cars. There was quite a large dead kangaroo on the side of the road, which is really common all through Australia. But the funny part was someone had got, those balloons you get in the hospital, the little floaty balloons, get well soon. Someone
oh
had
yeah.
tied that to its leg, and there's a get well soon balloon floating off this dead kangaroo. I just thought that's magnificent humour. Yeah, okay, we could say that, yeah, kangaroos getting killed is sad, but that's bloody funny. I don't care who you are. That was
Yeah.
funny.
And look, for any longevity in the job, and I know we've said this before, you've got to have that dark humor. Otherwise, you just
Oh,
won't.
yeah.
It's look, it's just one of those things. And like you said, for anybody that's sitting there and judging us and all that sort of thing, yeah, you're
I'll go
welcome
and do
to.
the job.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We
Yeah.
to be completely honest, we don't really care until you've walked in our shoes.
Yeah.
Then you can judge.
Yeah, go and do the
So,
job. Just go and do it. And if you can
yeah,
find a better way of doing it, I'm all ears.
that's
Simple as
right.
that.
Well, mate, we've got another one, and this is from
Yep.
Chev, mate. He's asked us, and this this might be a little bit funny, I reckon. He's asked that why are traffic cops those different breed of people,
Oh,
and why are they
no.
so
Oh, this
morbid?
is polarizing. Oh, dear. So I've got to preface this by saying I have mates who are traffic cops.
Yeah,
They
so do
exist, believe it or not. There was
I.
banter. There was always banter between us. Um, oh, bloody traffic cops. Righto. So, okay. I'll
I'll
do
put
this
you on the spot,
delicately.
haven't I, Damo?
Yeah, a little bit. I'll do this. Yeah, you have actually. Yeah. I'll do this delicately. It's almost like the ultimate enemy of the traffic cop is the detective. So we'll just see how we go.
Yep.
There's a number of terms that get given. Poor old traffic. Traffic policing has to occur. All right. It can't not happen. Um, I just, it can be done in extremely overzealous ways. And unfortunately, 95% of the population has contact with 5% of the police force. And even down here, I did no traffic. I can't remember. I used to write tickets to raging criminals just as a little bit of an add on to the offences that they were already committing. So
Yep.
I really never did traffic policing on people who didn't have extraordinarily long criminal history because it just wasn't my target audience. It wasn't my job. I was doing other jobs. Um, oh, Schultzy, really? Look, I think I have a pretty evidence based belief on overzealous policing. I'm a firm believer in using discretion when it comes to traffic offending. The
Yep.
reason for this is, you can teach a hell of a lesson by having a good interaction with somebody who might have committed a minor or not a major traffic offence, but a minor traffic offence. You can have a really good educational interaction with a person without just going a big abusive tirade where you've told them they're an idiot and they're going to die and bloody your behaviour, I scoop you buggers off the road and hear this. Yeah, look, whatever. Like the intention of the person is to travel from one place to another. Extreme excessive speeding, go your hardest. Drink driving, yeah, sure. Especially high range drink driving, go your hardest. Um, but when it comes to that sort of stuff, when we're locking up pedophiles, when we're locking up murder, and literally people who carry out aggravated robberies and all the rest of it, if we abuse the crap out of them on a bloody and it gets found on a camera, then we get in trouble for not being polite. But it seems that there can be quite a bit of abuse from a number of traffic police towards people with no criminal history whatsoever. And I just the constant conversations that I have with people down here is, oh, Damo was a copper in the territory. Yeah, yeah. Oh, well, this bastard, I got pulled over by highway patrol the other day. I was like, I don't care. It's not
Yeah.
by me, you didn't, mate. And it's always the same thing. It's like, do you understand that most of the New South Wales police go to domestics all day and they actually deal with really high end stuff, like the GDs in just remote areas? I mean, do you understand the level of extreme offending that the police in southwest Sydney deal with? So, we're not talking about 62 in a 60 zone. Yeah, sure. I'm sure you had an interaction with the highway patrol and you're not happy with them. Yeah. I don't know. Look, I'm not stupid enough to say that we can't not have traffic. We have to have traffic cops. I
Oh,
get it.
definitely. Yeah.
I just think it can be done in a good way. It can be done in an educational way. You can still have a good relationship with the community, because I'm
Yeah.
all about that. I'm about the police engaging with the community in a positive way.
Yeah.
Um, and a really good way to just get people offside is to be unreasonable.
Well,
If you can't have a conversation with a person, and I'm not saying belligerent dickheads. I know all this. I did the police. I was a policeman for 15 years. I'm not. It's not my first rodeo.
yeah.
I'm talking about people who have just, you can have an educational interaction with somebody and they will drive away learning a lesson and actually gaining more respect for the police. And I think it can be done well and it can be done poorly.
Yeah. Yeah, mate, I agree with you. I was just thinking, like, policing is basic. Traffic police is more like regulatory offences. So,
Yeah,
um,
pretty well.
there's a sense there where you're either right or wrong. It's black and white.
Yeah.
You either break the law or you don't. I
Yeah.
think maybe that when you've been doing it a while, you just get used to. You don't have to create I suppose, a connection with the person you're dealing with, like the offender, so to speak.
Yeah.
And maybe that's where it's born from. I'm not entirely sure, but I know, like, because us, when you're actually investigating something, you, you bring in a pedophile, you still need to create a relationship because you need them to chat to you.
Yeah, that's right. You need to extract
It's
the evidence.
that's right.
A lot of traffic offending is you providing all the evidence yourself. You've got traffic infringement detection devices in your vehicle.
Yep.
It's a big flash word for radars. And I would say I don't think there's a jurisdiction in Australia now that doesn't have automated number plate recognition cameras on their highway patrol vehicles. So
Yep.
that straight away, as you're driving through, that's scanning number plates and immediately putting them through a computer system to look for any kind of what we call an alert or I'd probably call different things in different jurisdictions, but basically it can run instantly that vehicle or that number plate through the database, and there can be people associated with that. It may be that it can detect immediately if the registered owner of the vehicle is unlicensed. It might be that the vehicle's unregistered. That's the simple stuff. It can also be that there's a person with a warrant associated with that vehicle, all kinds of things. Domestic violence. Domestic violence orders are quite often attached to number plates, so that it will be the registered owner of this vehicle is subject to a DVO. So there's all kinds of information that's attached to that number plate,
Mm.
and the highway
Yep.
patrol vehicles can automatically detect that as they drive down. As you're driving along, you hear a blip, which is clear, and then you hear doo doo or something similar, which means there's an issue. And quite often you can do a U-turn and apprehend the vehicle and go from there. So the highway patrol vehicles are an excellent source of information, and we'd often do combined operations with them for drug enforcement. Um, but yeah, I want to. I'm not against traffic policing. I don't want idiots on the road either. That needs to occur. I do think it can be harmful if done just very overzealously. If you just people make mistakes. Like
Yep.
to be human is to err. Simple as that.
Yep.
Do I think you should be just absolutely slugged with massive fines and demerit points every time you err, when people committing other offences will be released from court for the most trivial things? Look, I've got my opinion on it. I'm not against, by all means. I've driven the rims off cars to back up traffic cops in trouble. So it's
Yeah.
certainly not a personal thing. It's just a belief in how it can be done. effectively, and how it can sometimes be damaging to relationships with the
Yeah.
community. I mean, yeah,
Yeah, yeah, well, yeah, definitely, and I think that's one of the key points. And I mean, we got plenty of friends who were traffic cops, and and yeah, some very good friends. And realistically, look, in if I actually look at all the traffic cops that I've ever known, a high percentage of very good cops, and they've actually got a
oh,
very
of
good
course,
roadside manner.
yeah,
It's just unfortunately, like you said, 95% of people who deal with police deal with traffic cops,
that's
and
right.
and so that's the unfortunately, I think you get your good ones and your bad ones. And look, the ones that are actually in traffic, I think they're just like I said, it's a right or wrong. There's no they don't have as
Yeah,
much discretion.
yeah,
And look, and sometimes it could have been because they've been to a bad crash and all that. I mean, yeah,
yeah.
and to back up the traffic cops, I tell you what, if I had my badge now here in Brisbane, I'd be going absolutely nuts. The terrible the driving is shit.
Yeah, but once again, there's opportunities for educational interactions. I'm not talking about belligerent dickheads.
Mm,
If they're going to be belligerent and gob off and carry on, that's real simple. There you go,
yeah,
champ. 28 days to pay. I'm not saying that. It's more there's you could start low and escalate. You know, the TRG don't run in and start shooting. They start low. They
yeah,
can
yeah,
escalate to that. So you should always start low. Yeah. Hey, listen, I would love to hear from some traffic cops. If you've got play the
yep,
devil's advocate, come in and argue with me. And I'm your ally. I'm not against you. What I'm saying,
exactly.
I'm just providing my 2 cents worth and just what I've sort of observed, having been in the police and done that sort of thing, and now living out in community and sometimes hearing some anti-police rhetoric from people who aren't necessarily anti-police, and
Yeah,
who have only had interactions with traffic police and they've had bad interactions with them. So, and then not even some of them don't even whinge about the fact they got a ticket. They said, "Yeah, I was speeding, I got a ticket," but he didn't have to call me a dickhead and all this sort of stuff. And I agree with you. He didn't have to call him a dickhead. For Christ's sake,
mm,
how fast did you drive to catch up to him?
yeah,
You know, like you can still do that job with a smile on your face. And I'll say his nickname. We've got a good mate in Damo, and he's a very good mate of mine. And his nickname, I'm not going to say his real name, but his nickname's Tin Man.
yeah,
So Tin in the Northern Territory stands for traffic infringement notice.
yeah.
He got the nickname Tin Man because I think he holds the record for the most traffic infringement notices written in one shift. But the guy gets so few complaints because he's such a pleasant fella.
Yeah,
He's just pleasant. Oh, look, I'm a bit unfortunate here, but I don't have a choice. You're going to receive an infringement notice today. But listen, just keep your driving down and you just drive safe and you have a wonderful day, won't you? He's just a
yeah.
pleasant bloke.
Well,
So as a
this
result, he does well. He gets through it. He's an extremely productive traffic. Well, he was. I don't think
yeah,
he's in traffic anymore, but he was an extremely effective traffic cop. But he wrote
yeah,
a lot of tickets. But he was pleasant. He wasn't a pain in the ass to deal with.
yeah.
So yeah,
Well, mate, I remember like even I got pulled over by a traffic cop there. This is many years ago, and just after I'd actually left the place, and his roadside manner was absolutely outstanding. It was just
mm,
really really good. His whole mannerism to the point that I thought everybody's quick to smash the police.
yeah,
But not very many give compliments. So I just went on the Queensland Police website and actually, sent him a compliment because I
yeah,
said, this is how you should look at training your traffic cops or cops in general. That his
mm,
roadside manner was exceptional,
yeah.
and
Very de-escalating, and that's the big thing. I think it's very. I see you see videos of a lot of traffic cops having screaming matches with people on the road, and what's that achieving?
yeah,
The whole idea of
that's
the
right.
police is to de-escalate, and I think
Mm.
sometimes it's not done greatly. But I think we can move on. But
Yeah.
yeah, traffic cop, get in touch with me if I'm wrong. Tell me. I'm happy. I'm a big boy. I got thick skin. I've been struggled to be offended yet. So yeah,
Well, mate, we've got one more, and I won't mention her name, but she's actually joining or in the process of joining the police, so she's in the final stages, and she's asked that if we can give some, and she's listened to all our episodes, so which is probably nice to hear. You've got people
Hmm.
interested in joining the police, and we've always been big advocates for people to join the police, and we both loved it when we were in there. But she asked if we could give a bit of advice in preparation for going to college. What do you reckon? What can you say
Yeah.
there, mate?
Um, Yeah, yeah, good on her. That's excellent. Just reaching out, trying, straight away, it sounds like she is well prepared. And the fact that she's reaching out, seeking out information, which is one of the things I would say to do. Speak to
Yeah,
coppers. Go and speak to people you know who've been in the police force. Um, the big thing I would say is that go into the police with a really positive attitude. Um, there's the world's full of 15 to 20 year senior constables who just write TJF everywhere. And TJF, for those who don't know, is the job's fucked.
yeah,
Don't go in with that attitude. Go in with a good, fresh attitude that you are going to. It's a really important job. It's sometimes a very difficult job, but I tell you what, it is bloody rewarding, and you'll have some really good friends for life that you get in there and get to know. So to prepare for the college, especially, I would say get as fit as you can.
yep,
Really get into your fitness. That'll just make that component less less hard. Like it, I don't know what the fitness is like now, but we've mentioned what we went through, and some of the fitness training was pretty tough. I'm not going to sit here and say it's the hardest training ever. It's not. There's military training that's far harder. Um, I know the fireys go through a lot of physicality when they're doing their training as well, and they maintain their physicality. Um, yeah, I think being fit would be one. Speaking to police, going there with an open mind. The big one, stay really positive. Just enjoy it. Get to know all your crew, all your squad mates. Like they're going to be mates for life. Your squaddies will be a
yep,
really tight knit crew. You're going to have a good shared experience in that first 6 months at the college. Um, Work hard and play hard when you get to the college. But don't, oh no, I can't. I've got to study all night tonight. It's like, no. Learn to put the pen down and just go and enjoy yourself, relax, take that time out, and then rip back into it. So work hard through the week, but then relax on a Friday night and a Saturday. Um, I think I'm not big on giving advice, but the biggest thing I can give for advice that I would ever say is do not, under any circumstances, take any form of police identification out of your wallet while you are out anywhere. Do not, under any circumstances, be tempted to say I'm a police officer or try and enforce any kind of. If you think someone's doing the wrong thing while you're out as a police recruit on the piss, and this applies to coppers once you've graduated and you're on the piss, leave
yep,
your badge at home. If you see
yep.
a major drama, call 000 and get the actual sober police there. Um, do not ever flash Freddy. Under
No,
no circumstances do you flash Freddy. It will cause you nothing but extreme heartache. So
yep.
I think that's my only piece of serious advice.
Oh,
But yeah, it sounds to me like she's got her head screwed on. She's seeking out advice, and yeah, I think be fit and be positive, and just have a really open mind. And
yeah,
they'll swallow
and
your ego. That's a big one too. Go in there and just be quiet. Listen, just listen.
yeah,
That you if you're learning how to be, don't get me wrong, don't say nothing all the time. Like use your life experience, and it might be a learning experience that you can share with your squad mates. Do that, but be receptive to the information that you're going to be given, because it's like interviewing an offender or a witness. There's nothing that I have to add. I have to extract the information from the witness. So why would I talk? My voice is worthless. The
yeah,
only words I should say should be extracting information from the victim or the witness. So treat it like that. Extract information from your instructors, and just seek out more information. So yeah, I don't know. That's probably what I'd do. And look, you're not going to learn. You're going to learn things at the college. That's the whole idea. It's a place of learning. So you don't really need to learn things before you go there. But I think definitely understand what you're getting yourself into. Um, and yeah, that's my thoughts. What are your thoughts, mate?
yeah, mate. I think like you've got to earn your place in the police as well.
Oh yeah,
And that's the whole thing. Like you're not a cop until you're confirmed. So yeah, if I mean, I think back in the old days, I'm not sure if they get the badge early or when they get the badge now, but yeah, like you said, mate, keep it in your pocket or leave it at home if you're going out on the piss. It is nothing ever good has come from
no,
people
mate.
flashing
I
their
would
badge.
even say. Sorry, you go. Keep going.
No, yeah, sorry, mate. But yeah, people have flashed it before and in front of other police and haven't realised it. You know, when they've gone into a bit of a disagreement and all that sort of thing, and it's
Oh,
never ends well. So just
it
leave the
has
badge
never,
at
ever, ever in the history of Australia has that ever ended well.
home.
I'll tell you what it ends with, especially as either a recruit or a probationary constable. It ends in you finding another job sometimes at the
Yeah,
extreme end. At the lower end, it ends with you getting your bottom smacked at the college. And also, it's a bit of a reputation. Like, if you flashed Freddie as a recruit, people go, "Who was that dickhead from the recruit college who flashed Freddie?"
Yeah,
You will never do it. Just never. There's never a reason ever.
yeah,
If someone needs someone to be, if you need as a citizen to assist somebody in providing CPR, just be a citizen. Go in there as a
yeah,
citizen and provide CPR. Don't. To this day, I wouldn't walk up to someone and say, "I used to be a cop. I can help." I would never do it. I just, as a
no,
citizen, I'd just get involved. I go, "Look, I've got some
yeah,
first aid. Do you need some help?" Um,
yeah.
yeah, swallow the old ego and just know that you're going to learn a lot at that course. And yeah,
Yeah,
that's about it.
exactly. And look, everything. I think the most important thing I can and look, we learnt this in the college, but everything that you do in the police force will create a reputation for yourself, and that can
Oh yeah,
actually go like even in court and all that sort of thing. And like if you do really well in court, all the magistrates talk, and they all know each other, and they all talk about the police officers that come in and give evidence. If
yep,
you are tickety boo in how you actually present yourself and give evidence and all that sort of thing, then you will get a lot further when you're in the witness box. You'll get a lot more leeway, when you're in the witness box. So
yep,
I even had a magistrate once, when a defense lawyer questioned my word, he actually told her that my word was good in this court long before she got here. So
yeah,
if you can build that reputation, it is very 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 good. The other
yeah.
thing, mate, I would touch on, and look, I would, of course, I mean, I struggled a little bit in the plea, especially in the college, and that was with legislation. But
Mm.
what I would actually start to do, if you're, before you get in there, the important things to remember are probably the Criminal Code Act, 27, 28, 29, those sections. Learn it.
Know the Police Administration Act inside out and back
Yes,
to front.
128,
Yeah.
probably
Well, the
128,
entire, yeah, the Police Administration Act, just know it
just
inside
all
out
of
and
it.
back to front.
Yeah.
Just read it.
But
Start reading the Police Administration Act, if nothing else. Yeah,
yeah.
that's all your powers. So that's
Yep.
all the stuff you really need to know. This is in the
That's
Northern Territory. It's different in every jurisdiction, but
yeah.
and this a little bit of advice for anyone going into any academy around the country. Find an act with police written in front of it. I know Queensland's the Police Powers and Responsibilities Act. I'm not sure what New South Wales is, but there's different policing acts of Parliament all over the place. So pieces of
Yep.
legislation. Start having a read of that.
Yep.
That
Because
would
that's
be
where
if
your
you
powers
really
and
wanted to
arrests.
start prepping. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
academically prepping. But yeah, that's something you'll need to know well.
Yeah.
Mm.
So yeah, I think that's yeah. I mean that yeah, Police Administration Act. That's extremely important for the NT. And look, I would yeah, Criminal Code Act, because a lot of the stuff that
Mm.
you deal with and charging people with will be in the criminal code.
Yeah,
Um, so and especially I would say 27, 28, 29. If you know that, then you're going to be ahead when you're in that section when
yeah.
they try and drum it into you.
And that's that famous piece we always come back to talking about use of force, justification of use of force.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah. So,
Yeah,
but
the college. Enjoy it. Enjoy the college. Go in there and just be. Yeah, I still look back. There's going to be times that are crap.
yeah,
That happens. But the things worth doing are often hard. So that's fine. Just understand that you're into it and definitely prioritize that. At least the well work life balance at the college tips fairly severely towards work.
yep,
Um, but it's only 6 months or whatever it is now. It's not a huge piece of your life, but just
yep.
knuckle down, get it done. It's definitely worth it. Graduate, come out the other end. It'll be a proud day when you graduate. So,
Yeah, yeah,
mm,
yeah, definitely, exactly. And look, I can still remember when we went through the college. There were times that we were sitting there going, getting the shits with it and all that sort of thing. But you just got to ride through it. And like we've spoken about before, they will hammer you in the college, but it's to build your resilience, and that's what it's about. So when you actually get to those high level situations, where you're getting abused and all that sort of thing, you just brush it off. It's like
yeah,
water off the duck's back. So just
yep,
remember that everything they do is trying to teach you to be a better police officer.
yeah. And if you feel overwhelmed and feel like you're a fool and you don't know what you're doing and all the rest of it, well, I'm sorry to say that's not a very exclusive club. That's everybody. Even if people don't say it, even the people who seem to be duxing it, quite often that's because they're working their ass off after hours. Occasionally, you just get that absolute academic freak who can just absorb it all and push it back out. And
Yeah,
yeah, good luck to them. But
yeah,
yeah, understand that it takes hard work from everybody, and Plenty of people have gone before you. Plenty of people will go after you. Yeah, it's your time. So yeah, get into it.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Well, mate, how did you enjoy the Q&A, Damo?
Yeah, that was pretty good actually. I thought I don't know. I don't know. I have to listen back to it. I can never tell when I talk. Just talk. I just my brain just spits out information. That's yeah. We'll see how we go. But
Mate,
yeah, so the beauty. What were you going to say?
nothing's changed, mate, since I've ever known
No,
you.
no. So I think the beauty of something like this is that, yeah, we do want to hear from you. Like if you do, we've had a heap of people comment and send us messages and things like that. Please do it. Like we're happy to talk about anything. And the beauty of us is we don't have the ego. So if I
Yeah,
don't know, I'll tell you I've got no idea, but we'll find out. Let's find out. That'll be a little challenge for us.
yeah,
So between us, we're pretty experienced, so a lot of the questions are pretty easy for us to answer. And the other thing is, it's just our opinion. A lot of the time, it's for
yeah.
whatever that's worth.
No, all ordinary opinions, mate. That's
Very ordinary. We're too. That's, and I'll come back to that. There is nothing special about us. We just did
no,
this job for a little while. I don't think we were too bad at it. That's about it. There's nothing
no,
special about
that's
us
exactly
whatsoever.
right. And there's
Yeah,
people out there every day, like today, or even back when we went through, and they're doing the same thing, day in,
yeah,
day out. And
yeah.
a big shout out to those, to everybody on the front line at the moment.
Yeah, good
You're
man.
doing a hard job.
Actually, today we're recording this on the September 11, and where there's been some bloody pretty full-on riots happening down in Melbourne around the land warfare. There's some land warfare contractors
Oh, yeah.
conference down there, and there's some pretty full-on protests going on. So, chin up, we're with you. We think you're doing a bloody good job. I've seen some footage down there, and you're dealing with a fair bit of shit. So, yeah, good on you.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Keep it up, and know you've always got us as backup. Well, in
Well,
our
no, you don't.
settings.
We're not coming to help, but we're supporting. Yeah, let's not go nuts. Yeah, two balding, aging, middle-aged men coming to help you. I'm pretty sure you got
Oh,
better.
do you want to know a funny one, mate? I think it was about 6 months ago. I actually got a call from Comms, and they asked me if I go to a job.
Oh,
So my phone number must have been on. I said, "Look, I can do it if you want, but you have to reinstate me,
yeah,
and
it's gonna
it's
probably need
going
to
to cost,
retrain me.
it's going to cost quite
My
a bit in
first aid,
PA and
yeah,
fuel."
my first aid certificate's expired. You're gonna have to run me quickly through my requals, but I'm coming. Yeah. How much legislation's changed since 2016? Oh, very funny. I didn't know that. That's very funny.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I thought that was.
That's good. Yeah,
I think my phone number ended everywhere when I was in the NT.
yeah,
Even the chief minister's office had it, got it somehow because they called me up one time when they were having difficulties out there with after the cyclones. So,
yeah, right.
um,
Yeah, no, I'm coming. You're just gonna have to drop me out to Amberley. I'm gonna have to get in an F-18, otherwise the response time's gonna be shit house. Yeah.
oh dear.
Well, mate, I think
Anyway,
that'll
mate,
wrap it up. It's pretty
yeah,
good.
I think so. And yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, if you're pretty happy with that, I mean, I think you did quite well, mate. Even when I put you in the hot seat. So.
Oh, Ken and Will talk crap, mate. You know how it is. Yeah. So, yeah,
and
no, look,
and
keep the comments up. We really enjoy it. Yeah, let us know what we need. Let us know what you
yeah,
want. We'll
yep,
think of a few things ourselves. We've got a bit of a plan coming up. We'll probably talk about that once it's confirmed. But
yep.
yeah, there's plenty of things happening. So
Which
yeah,
is
the
definitely,
200
yeah,
cops,
pretty
mate.
exciting. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, yeah, and well, actually, I was thinking, mate, as we get closer, we might give a few hints on what we're planning. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
just to see if those detectives out there can figure it
We'll work it out. Yeah, no trouble. That's the go.
out.
Rightio, mate. Good on you. It's the 200 cops, and we'll talk to you next week.
Yep. See you then.